Good evening, clan. My name is Isaac. However, out of respect for Okonkwo, you all may call me Nwoye. I am Okonkwo's first son. Many of you may agree that being the firstborn has its advantages. However, being the first child of Okonkwo has come with many shortcomings. Many years ago, my father was raised by a man named Unoka. Often, I heard that Unoka was very similar to me in many ways. And at times, I feel as if my childhood would have been far much better had Okonkwo been more like Unoka. Today, we have all gathered here to mourn the death of a man who was not the most understanding or lovable, but some might say he was the most hardworking. Okonkwo was not a man who was far of sharing feelings or expressing his love. In fact, I believe he was the type of man who was more fond of working day in and day out than bonding with his first son. Okonkwo was the type of man to beat the mother of his child, threaten her, and show no remorse afterwards. I find it ironic that people often associate Okonkwo's name with power. A man who is all man is powerful. A man who claims to be all man is not. A man who is fearful of his own feelings is weak. Okonkwo may have been the strongest man, one of the strongest men, and one of the wealthiest men. But Okonkwo was not the most powerful, at least not from what I've seen of all the years I have known him. I remember when I was really young and full of spark and imagination, there was a boy who was brought to my village, and his name was Akimafuna. I'll never forget how much I bonded with Akimafuna. The 3 years of his presence were some of the few happiest years of my life. There was no doubt in my mind that Okonkwo accepted Akimafuna as his son, just as I accepted Akimafuna as my brother. The memories of Akimafuna lie deep within my heart. How could a man who claims to be a man kill a child who had done nothing but try his hardest to please him? How could he betray the trust and love of an innocent child and still claim to be great? The closest days that followed Akimafuna's death were frightening for me. Okonkwo called upon me and told me to sit in his ubi. I couldn't bear to be near him, knowing that what he had done to Akimafuna, my brother and his son. It was then that I realized something in Okonkwo's culture was not right. It was then that a part of me had broken up inside. I'm not sure if Okonkwo realized this or not, but the days that followed Akimafuna's death allowed me to distance myself. It allowed me to mature on my own and act like myself, which Okonkwo felt was feminine. My brothers have all explained to me my father's last thoughts of me were not exactly blissful and full of love. I have heard that I have been called an abomination and that I'm no longer considered his son or an older brother to my siblings. This is my reasoning for calling Okonkwo by his name and not father. Many of you must know that I have decided to convert to Christianity. However, I do not wish to go into depth about this conversation. I only wish to emphasize the lack of remorse I feel about this man's death. The day he heard about my conversion, he tried to kill me. I understand a father's outrage at his son's betrayal. However, as a man, Okonkwo should have realized that I am also a man. A man does not wail or become angry at another man's ideas. He knows that every man has a reasoning for doing everything he does. However, because Okonkwo was not a man, it does not surprise me that he acted in such a self-indulgent way. Yes, Okonkwo was wealthy, and yes, many people are not able to build something from nothing. However, this does not define him as someone who is powerful, and nor does this make him a man. As Okonkwo's first son, I'm not here to slash his name or to make you care less about his absence. Okonkwo will be missed by his wives and children, and also by his family and friends. However, I feel as if I cannot miss a father that I never had. Thank you all for listening.